Beauty here. I'm here with my gal pal Tisha. We went to high school together, and for the last couple of months I've been hounding her to do her makeup, and finally she's here. She went out last weekend and bought the new Fenty Beauty range. So she's bought these over for me to have a play around with today. What do you think of the range so far?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I was a Maybelline Black Opal girl before I come across the Fenty Beauty range, and I absolutely love it. So light and airy, and it's everything. The Matte Trio Sticks, I'm in love with the Matte Trio Sticks. You can get a lot of product. They come with a lot of product, the 6 alone. Like,
yeah, so if we pull one of these bad boys up.
Yeah, see how much product you get from that?
Yeah, so that's quite a lot of product. I know there's another Contouring Queens product that has come out recently, shall remain nameless, where you don't get as much product and it's not as sturdy of a product either. So those ones are likely to break, whereas these ones are really, really sturdy. So really impressed with those. I was really impressed with the performance of this. We have established that this color is probably a little bit too orange for Tisha at the moment. It's coming into summer here in Queensland. It's disgustingly hot and she'll probably be spending a lot of time at the beach. So that's probably going to end up being a really good color for her. Yeah, Fenty Beauty, impressed with it so far, impressed with the matchsticks. Rihanna has really gone all out with this range. She's covered a massive spectrum of color, from the whitest white to the darkest woman of color, which I think is really admirable of her to be so inclusive in a range like this. And the foundation really is beautiful, so it's more of a medium to full coverage. You will get more of a medium coverage starting off, but you can just keep adding your layers if you prefer a fuller coverage. Tisha matched up in store using the
Fenty Beauty color chart. They have a wheel there, kiosk, so it helps you with choosing your Match Trio Sticks when you've found your shade of your foundation with the Pro Filter. So
okay, so we've got color 390 for the Pro Filter here, and the match for that was the Caramel Concealer, the Rum Highlighter, and the Truffle in the contour color. So you can see that we've used all of these on Letitia's beautiful face today. We're going to go through and show you how I came up with this look. Cool! So to start off, we're going to cleanse the skin. I'm just using a Rosehip Micellar water by Essano. And then I'm going to hit the skin with a dose of hydration using the MAC Fix Plus spray. And I'm going to work that into the skin using the MAC 127 split fiber brush. Next up, I'm going to come in with the Charlotte Tilbury primer. So this is the Wonder Glow primer. It's got a really beautiful golden undertone to it, and looks really good with these skin tones underneath your foundation to give a really beautiful luminous glow. Now for my eyeshadow base, I am using the MAC Paint Pot in Quite Natural. I'm going to bring that underneath the eye as well, just using a flat paddle eyeshadow brush. And then I'm going to work some black eyeliner into that lash line. This is just a black Kohl pencil from Rimmel that I'm using, so you don't need anything fancy. And then I'm going to press a black eyeshadow on top of that. I'm using a black eyeshadow from the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette, and I'm just pressing that into the lash line and smudging it out. And then I'm going to work that color into the socket and the outer corner as well. So really gently just sort of working that into the outer socket to create a little bit of depth. Now I'm coming in with the transition color. Again, this is just another brown shadow from the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette. Perhaps in future, maybe make sure that you're not reaching for the scabbiest brush in your brush belt. This one quite obviously is, with a frayed hair, which is annoying the crap out of me. Note to self, throw that brush in the bin because it's probably stabbing your client's eyeballs out. Now I'm going to come in on the bottom lash line using the same Kohl liner that we did to line the top lash line, but we're only going on the outer third corner. We're going to smudge that in and set it using the black from the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette, and just using a dome brush for that one. Now we're going to highlight. This is a Tom Ford highlighter that I got from Tom Ford, obviously. I actually don't know what this palette is called, but it was a limited edition collection, but I'll pop it in the comments below for you. Before I lay the foundation, I'm actually going to come in with the Fenty Beauty Shimmer Match Stix. So this is the highlighter color in Rum. I'm just going to place that on the high planes of the face. So when we lay the foundation on top of that, we're going to get some really beautiful catch lights in the foundation, and then we'll apply another layer on top of that as well. Again, I'm working that into the skin with the same brush, the 127 brush. So I tend to use this brush for everything and really work the product into the brush so that by the time you get to the foundation, you've got all these beautiful products that have primed your brush and everything seems to go on really smoothly. Now we're coming in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. Now this foundation admittedly is going on a little bit too orange for my liking. However, this is Letitia's personal foundation, so we're going to work with it. She did use the color wheel that they supply in Sephora to help you match your skin tone, so keep that in mind if you are going in as well. There have been a lot of complaints about this foundation oxidizing. We have noticed that it oxidizes a little bit, but not too much. So again, just keep that in mind when you're going in to match your skin tone. Remember that it will oxidize a little bit, so perhaps go a shade to a shade and a half lighter than what you would usually go. I'm not too concerned at the moment because we're going to use the Caramel Match Stick, so the concealer stick, to cool this tone down a little bit through the highs of the face. So here we've got the Caramel Match Stick. I did rub it on the back of my hand a little bit prior to putting it on Letitia's skin because I wanted to warm that product up. And then I'm just using a synthetic shader brush from Sigma Beauty to really work that in close to the lash, the bottom lash line there. Again, we're going to do it on the other side, so placing down the product, blending it in with that shader brush to get as close to the lash line as possible. I'm just placing that truffle color into the hollows of the cheeks and really working that color in. So I'm really pressing it into the hollows of the cheekbones to give that beautiful contoured shape. Working a little bit of it into the temples as well, using the same brush that we used for foundation. And now we're going in with the highlighter shade in Rum to press on top of the cheekbones again for a little bit of extra glow. And as you can see here, I'm obviously being hilarious with my comedic genius. I'm hilarious. Also here I realise it looks like I have given her the finger. I promise I did not. I was just telling her to look up. And again, I'm coming in with a MAC blending brush with a little bit of the By Terry Hyaluronic Powder. A really finely milled translucent setting powder. We're not going to bake here. Baking's for the kitchen. We're just going to really softly set underneath the eyes because we don't want to accentuate any of the fine lines underneath the eyes or any of the pores on the skin. Now I'm going to go in with the Benefit Goof Proof Eyebrow Crayon. I went a little bit harder than I wanted to, so I'm going to soften that a little bit with an eyebrow pencil and move a little bit of that product around so it's not as intense and not as structured. And then I'm going to set that with a clear brow gel. Over the eyes, I am using MAC Tan Pigment for a little bit of a shimmer glow. So I don't want that shimmer to be too intense and too poppin'. I just want it to sort of really softly finish the look. And then again, going to come in with that highlighter from Tom Ford. And curl the lashes. Make sure you get your client to look down and always ask if she can feel pinching anywhere before you clamp down. The last thing you want to do is clamp on someone's eyelid skin. That is very unpleasant. And then we're going to come in and just intensify a little bit of that shading underneath. I've also got a MAC Sculpt Powder that I'm using here. It's just coincidental that I'm using a lot of MAC here today. Now this one I tend to use as a bronzing powder, so we're just going to melt that contour color and that highlight color together. And now I'm just using a little bit of mascara. I think this one is the Maybelline False Lash Mascara, so nothing too fancy pants. And then we're going to apply some false lashes. So these lashes are the ModelRock lashes in Fluffy number 4. Now while that glue dries, I'm going to get Letitia to keep looking down so I can go in and start lining the lips. And on the lips, I don't want to use any fancy pants lipsticks because I don't think she needs it. So I'm just using the Mecca Lip Protectant. I love this product. It smells like yum and it always looks good on everyone. Once the lash glue is dried, I'm going to go in with a business card. I wish I had used my new business cards for a bit of brand consistency here, but I have an old box of 500 business cards, so this is what I use them for. By placing the business card on the lash line and using your mascara wand with a little bit of leftover mascara on it, you can really fuse the lashes together. You'll probably find that a lot of your clients will be like, that feels so much better after you do this. And then I'm going to come in with some black gel liner to camouflage that lash line, and then I'm going to use a eyeshadow pencil to smudge that one out. Again, if you feel the look needs a little bit more intensity, then just go in and add your intensity. It's probably a bit too polished for my liking. I still wanted it to be a little bit unpolished and imperfect, but as a makeup artist we can sometimes get a bit OCD with blending, so that's what's happened here. And then we're just going to do a little bit more editing. I feel like Letitia could do with a little bit more depth underneath the lash line, and there we have it. Now the one moment that all makeup artists dread if your client hasn't been sat in front of a mirror and hasn't been following along to what you've been doing is the moment of reveal, where we all just hold our breath and pray for the best.